Hey, what it do, YouTube? Welcome back to Q's Challengers Corner, where we go over everything NA Challengers, from results from last week, predictions for this coming week, and normally we even do a little bit of power rankings, but I figured heading into week number 5, we can go ahead and kind of talk about what the teams in Group A need to do in order to qualify for that mid-season face-off, because really in Group B, that group has already given us our 4 teams that will be qualified. Group A is technically still wide open. The only thing that is guaranteed is that G2 is in. But let's not get ahead of ourselves here just quite yet, because last week, I thought the first 2 days worth of games were pretty predictable. I mean, they actually all ended in sweeps. But I think the first four games of the week, let's be honest, I think they're to kind of go the way that you expect them to, right? I think we're going to be seeing W's for M80, TSM, G2, and the Guard. The only thing, though, it was G2, the last undefeated team left in the league, that would end up being the ones getting swept instead of the ones doing the sweeping. And a turtle troop of all teams. Add in the fact that Oxygen went on to beat Faze Clan, like I told y'all would happen, which is really the secondary cause of all this hecticness that is in Group A after last week. And Moist ends up joining just about everyone else, as I had mentioned in Group A, besides G2, at that 2-2 after they took down Shopify Rebellion. That left me at 4-2 on the week in my pickems. I'm kind of curious, how'd you guys do? Definitely let me know down those comments below. And I figured we'd kind of again switch away from those power rankings this week and save that for heading into that mid-season face-off. And I figured after we do our pickems today, kind of talk about what each of those teams in Group A needs to do in order to qualify, especially because 5 of our 6 matchups this week will have some sort of implications on that face-off, whether it's placement or actual qualification itself. And y'all already know we're going to be doing some watch parties over here on the channel all 3 days, starting at about 3:45 Eastern time. So if you're looking for a good spot to chill, hang out, and watch some NA Challengers action, make sure you hit that subscribe button, turn those notifications on. All right. And if there's a particular team in Group A that you're wanting to see what they need to do in order to get that invitation spot, make sure you're sticking around until the end. But before we get to that, I'm curious, YouTube, how's your sleep schedule? You ever catch yourself struggling to get some sleep after a long night at the grind? GamerAdvantage is a leader in impactful eyewear technology that has been proven to help you sleep better, focus more, all without distorting color or comfort, relieving headaches and eye strain, all while fitting comfortably under a headset. Make sure you stay in the game longer with GamerAdvantage. Y'all always see me let GamerAdvantage sit on my face, whether it's my Storm, my Augments, or my Genius C collab frames that do have my prescription lenses. So whenever you decide to let GA sit on your face too, make sure you use that link down in the description below. All right. And don't forget that code YoBoyCue at checkout saves you 10%. But let's go ahead and roll into our pickems for this upcoming week, like we always do over here on Q's Challengers Corner. And let's get into Wednesday's games, as those games will at least give us our positioning for Group B heading into the face-off, right? And I do think that TSM versus Disguise should really be an interesting game. I'm hoping that we don't end up getting a sweep, because we have seemed to have been getting a lot of those lately. I'm anticipating this one, though, does go 3. Both teams have gotten better as the season has continued to progress, but I do think I'm going to have to lean towards TSM. And in that second game of the day, we got the highly anticipated M80 versus the Guard. And while this matchup might not be between 2 undefeated teams like we once thought it would end up being at one point during the season, it still definitely has the 2 best teams in A as far as the Challenger circuit, and argue the best 2 teams in that Challenger circuit as a whole. However, I do think that we will end up having one team in NA that ends up finishing the season with that perfect record. So give me M80 and a surprisingly one-sided matchup. Now, as far as our Thursday matchups, that first matchup of the day really doesn't mean much other than one of these teams ending their season with a win, while the other one ends up finishing the season without a win at all. And I do think that OR Esports has given better teams a little bit better fights at time throughout the course of the season. So I think I'm going to go ahead and roll with them in this one. And while I was admittedly a little worried for Moist when they lost to Turtle Troop a couple weeks ago, I think the Troop have shown that they are a lot better than people have been giving them credit for, really putting things together last week when they took down G2. But I really do think that Faze Clan is the best 2-2 team in the group right now. So I am expecting them to take this one, but I am expecting it to be a banger. Friday is the day that I'm really excited for, because I do think it has the one matchup that truly determines the order of our qualifiers for that mid-season face-off, at least as far as Group A is concerned. Because I do think that Friday ends with G2 walking away with a W against Shopify Rebellion, because they're going to have a point to prove after taking that loss to Turtle Troop, and they're going to want to regain some of that momentum heading into the end of the split, which will essentially eliminate Shopify from contention. But it's this matchup between Oxygen Esports and Turtle Troop. It's going to be everything, because Turtle Troop has seemingly only gotten better as the season has progressed. Oxygen, on the other hand, really been this like story of like a Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde sort of thing. And because Oxygen has failed to put together back-to-back wins this season, I'm definitely going to have to rock with Turtle Troop walking away with the dub. And that's going to give us G2, Faze Clan, and Turtle Troop as our 3 qualifiers from Group A based off of record. It's going to come down to Moist Esports and Oxygen Esports for that last spot, which means come down to round differential, right? So that means as far as for Moist, they're going to have to try and close that gap of 5 rounds heading into the week, meaning they either need to win a close one, Oxygen lose a big one, or a little combination of the two. So with that being said, unless you're Shopify Rebellion, you pretty well control your own destiny, which is honestly a lot of pressure going into the final week of play. And this weekend promises to be a banger. Let me know who you think is going to be walking away with those W's down in the comments below. And once you're done dropping those comments below, it really mean a lot to me if you could tap that like button, as those 2 things are the things that mean the most as far as getting into that YouTube algorithm and potentially getting my content in front of more people as we chase down that first 200 subscribers. And even though NA Challengers is almost wrapped up with Split 1, we do got VCT starting up at the end of the month as well. So if you're looking for a good place to keep up with Valorant news, updates, and more, make sure you hit that subscribe button, turn those notifications on. That way we can catch y'all right back here. All right. And until that time does come in, I need y'all to do me one more favor for the homie. All right. And that's with everything crazy going on in the world today. Be true, be you, be sincere, game hard and love harder. All right. It's your boy Q, signing out.
If you ain't show something, you just don't wanna be. You wanna be me, but you will never be as fresh as CUA.